Okay, today's project is an experiment with water distillation. And if it works, I'm going to use my dragon pot that Silverfire sent me. But I don't want to experiment with that pot until I know for sure this is going to work. So let me show you the process I go through when I start an experiment. Hey, hon? Can I use this pot for an experiment?
It's a very good pot.
I'll clean it up and put it back together.
Okay.
Thank you. Alright, let's go to the house. We got parts. Hey y'all, I'm pretty passionate about having access to a purified, clean water that won't make you sick drinking it. And I've showed you a lot of different ways of making it safe to drink. This is another way, and in my opinion, it is the safest way. It's a little bit of trouble, but once you make this, it's the only trouble is lighting a fire and getting the water. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make water distiller. Out of this pot, I got 10 feet of 1/4 inch copper tubing. I really wanted about 15, but 10 is all I can afford right now. It'll work. I'm going to use a couple of 5-gallon buckets. I've got a little rubber grommet. That's pretty important to this. 1/4 inch rubber grommet. And I'm going to drill a hole in the bucket, and this is going to go in it, and then the pipe's going to go through the grommet. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into a water distiller using the rocket stove to distill the water. And this is the Silverfire Survivor. I really wanted to use this dragon pot, but I really like this thing, and I'm not going to mess it up. I'd have to drill a hole in the top, and I don't want to do that. If this turns out to work really, really good, I may buy another pot, and because it's got a built-in skirt, you know. And if it works really good, I just might buy another pot and turn it into a water distiller for good and leave it that way. Okay, I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to do a couple things and turn the heat on. Man, it's cold out here. It's the middle of the afternoon and it still ain't warmed up. I'm probably going to have to go get my jacket and just forget about the heat. Back in a minute. I forgot another important part of this is a 1/4 inch 90 with 2 ferrule fittings. So the really important parts of this are the bucket, the copper tubing, the 1/4 inch rubber grommet, this little 90 here, and you know, the buckets and everything else you can change up a little bit, but those are the important parts. Here's another little thing I got that's kind of important. It's not absolutely necessary. What these are is little rubber feet that you stick on the bottom of say furniture or something like that. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole through these and put the 90 through it. I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom, and put the nut on there so it'll seal up on the top of that pot. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, this is what I got. And it's going to go like this. And then I'm going to bend a 90 in this, and then I'm going to bend all kinds of curls And then I'm going to have the end of it come out right down here and drip into a catch basin. What's going to be in here is cold water to cool these coils down to turn the steam, which is a vapor, back into a liquid. So I'm going to get to bending these loops on here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I drilled a 23/64 hole, and I put that rubber, the 1/4-inch ID rubber grommet in there. And now I'm going to put the copper tubing down in here and try to run that pipe out the bottom through that hole. Let's see if I can do it. Oh yeah, I made these loops by wrapping it around a pipe. You got to be real careful not to kink this, or else you won't have a free flow. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a little loose. I have a smaller one. I'm going to take this out and put the smaller one in there. Be right back. All right. There we have it. Now here's what I hope to have happen. I light the fire. I get the bayou water, yeah, because that's what I'm going to do. Go down there and get me a 5-gallon bucket of bayou water. Put some in here. Get it to boiling, and I hope this steam comes through here, through these coils, and this bucket here will have cold water in it to turn the vapor back into a liquid. And then the liquid will come out here, purified, distilled, clean, and drinkable. And boiling kills everything that could harm you, except it does not remove petrochemicals to my knowledge. So you would have to get your water from a source that didn't have chemical toxins in it. And I don't know what that would be, to tell you the truth. You know, boats run up and down our bayou, and I've drank that water a couple of different times during my videos of showing you how to purify water. So the next step is to go get some water. It's kind of late. I may have to do this tomorrow. I'll go down there to the bayou, get some water. Yeah, I'll do this tomorrow. First thing in the morning. At the crack of 11. No, I get up pretty early. As soon as the sun comes up, I'll be out there. See you in the morning. Well, I usually get up around 4, thereabouts. But I spent so many hours last night reading because I discovered something that is going to blow your mind when I tell you. And I wanted to make sure I was right before I pass this information along, because I don't want to give you information that could hurt you. So anyway, it's 9-ish, and I got my bucket here. We're fixing to go on down to the bayou, get us some water, and on the way down there, let's see if I can tell you some of the things I've learned about water distillation. Let me get in here and get cranked up and get my jacket on. I left my jacket in the truck back here, so see you in a minute. Alright, this guy stopped at I got a skinny little road here, and he was stopped in the middle, not knowing which way to turn. So anyway, I'm back. Yeah, you can dip a gallon of water out of the ocean, distill it, and make it perfectly 100% safe to drink. Which, that's very interesting, and it's a good thing to know. But here's something else that's good to know. Radioactive water. You can make radioactive water safe to drink. Here's why. Radiation consists of three particles. That's alpha, beta, and gamma. And those three particles, basically that's nuclear fallout, by the way. Those three particles boil at a temperature that is 1600 degrees hotter than the temperature that water boils at and turns into a vapor. So you can take radiated water, water that has nuclear fallout in it, Fukushima, you can distill it and make it safe to drink. Yeah, that just blows my mind. I had no idea. That's something that everybody needs to know. That's a real possibility here in the United States, you know, even if it was just a dirty bomb and municipal water was contaminated. You know, people could distill their water, and well, you haven't yet, but you'll see how simple a water distiller is to make. Just a few minor parts that, if you don't have, would be easy to have. So that just blows my mind, and I wanted to make absolutely certain I was understanding this correctly. So I think you just took a little turn here. Hold on, there we go. So I did a whole lot of reading. I stayed up way past midnight last night, which to me is 5 hours past my bedtime. I go to bed pretty early, but then, you know, I get up 4, sometimes 3, sometimes 2:30. Just whenever I wake up, I get up. But here's another thing. People say that distilled water is devoid of all the trace minerals that your body needs, which is true. Well, what they don't tell you is that your body gets 95% of its minerals from your food. Only 5% of what you need, as far as trace minerals go, comes from water. So you're better off distilling your water, because along with that undistilled water comes chlorine, fluoride, pesticides. Oh, that's another thing I want to tell you. I'm going to turn here. Hold on one second. Okay, we are at the bayou. Let me just go back over this little list I brought with me. Here's the good things that distillation does. You can desalinate salt water and make it perfectly potable, 100% safe to drink. Distillation removes heavy metals like arsenic, lead, mercury. It removes all of the bad bacteria and cysts and protozoa and stuff that would harm you in your intestinal tract, like cryptosporidium and giardia. Distillation does not remove impurities that have a lower boiling temp than water. And what those mainly are is synthetic or man-made chemicals like pesticides and herbicides. But once again, the water you drink from the tap, they have no way of removing them either. So you're getting, I mean, if your water's coming from questionable sources, you're getting that anyway. Let's see. Synthetic chemicals like these pesticides and herbicides are the main contaminants that remain in treated, filtered municipal water. So you're getting bad stuff anyway, and you're getting, granted you're getting your trace minerals, but once again, you only need 5% of the trace minerals. 95% of your trace minerals come from your food. Okay, yeah, distillation does strip water of trace minerals. Scientists have found that 95% of the minerals you need come from food and not water. Distillation is usually this information, that 95% of your minerals come from your food. It's usually withheld by folks that want to push osmosis systems and chlorine and filters and that kind of stuff. So you're not really getting the big picture, because that information is available, but nobody passes it on. Let's see. Yep, distillation, this is the final word, and I'm going to get out and get me some water here. Distillation removes radioactive fallout. And the final word comes from the nuclear chemistry scientists at UC Davis. Now, I went all over the web and read this exact same thing, people doing tests, you know, scientists. I didn't just get this from like Bob in his backyard or PC Truck doing experiments. This is mainstream scientists saying that. So that's pretty doggone interesting right there. All right, I'm fixing to hop out, get me some water. Be right back. Okay, back to the house. Okay, here we go. There's my bayou water. It's almost completely full. And I'm taking these 2 bricks, and I want this lid to seal as tightly as possible, because steam is going to escape around the edge, some of it, and I already know that. Alright, here we go. I'm going to put this under here. I'm going to get the rocket stove cranked up, and we'll be back in a minute. I forgot something. I'm going to use my leftover bayou water to pour in here. To cool them tubes. Okay. Now I'm going to light it up. Alright, we're cooking. I was going to say we're cooking with gas now, but of course we're not. We're cooking with sticks. So I'm not going to set a clock or nothing. It's not really that important how long this is going to take. This is all just a proof of concept, basically, and if this does work well, what I'm going to do is buy a dragon pot and convert it permanently to a water distiller using some better fittings. And my blue bucket there, where the copper pipe comes out of the bucket down there, there's just a little bit of water leaking around that grommet, not much. I'll probably be able to get through this whole thing without adding any water, because it's just a very little trickle, and I can fix that too. So the important thing is to see how doable, simple it is with you know, common household stuff. Granted, copper pipe's not something somebody has laying around. Most people don't have that laying around, but you know, you don't have to use copper. You could use even a garden hose, for crying out loud. You know, in a pinch, a garden hose would work. Alright, we'll be back when this starts doing something. Well, we're steaming, we're boiling, but sadly, this crappy old pot I've got here is just not sealed tight enough to force very much of the steam through the copper tubing. I am getting some. I don't know if the camera's picking up the steam where the pipe goes into the water here. But I don't have any dripping out yet. Oh yeah, can you see that steam? That's getting pretty hot. And I touched it, and oh yeah, it's hot. So I do have some steam coming through there. It may take a little while for it to work its way through the coils and out here. I don't need much, you know, a glass full. But this pot definitely won't work. You know, this is not something you would want. So I have another thought while I was in there sweeping my shop. I had metal filings and, you know, all them stoves I made. I had metal all over the floor, and I don't want my dogs to get it in their paws. So while I was sweeping, I thought of something that would work really good. And that is a pressure cooker. That would work great. So I'm going to be looking at the like Goodwill and stuff like that for a pressure cooker. I'll let you know when we got water dripping out. Definitely boiling though, and that didn't take but 10, 12 minutes. I think I got probably 2 or 3 quarts in there anyway. We'll be back. All right, we got drippage. That's a word. Maybe. All right, good deal. Well, this is not, I mean, I'm losing probably 80%, 90% of my steam through the pot top, the lid. And, but this, you know, this is okay. It's not a fail, but I will get a pressure cooker. I'll start checking out the secondhand shops and Goodwill and stuff like that. Maybe I'll put an ad on Craigslist telling somebody, you know, if they got one cheap, I'd come get it. So, all right, we are actually going to have water to drink. Fantastic. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, when we got enough, let me show you this is the Silver Fire Survivor rocket stove, by the way. And I got a little too much wood in there, but I really wanted this thing to get really hot. So yeah, it's working great. Working great. All right, fantastic. I'm pumped. I can't wait to give this a taste. We'll be back. Yeah, still getting some pretty good drips here. Not quite enough to drink though. I'm only into this right now about 25 minutes. All right, it's starting to really slow down steaming. I got probably enough for a half a cup, and it's cold. The water coming out of here is still cold, so this bucket of water definitely cools it down. So I'm gonna let this burn out, and we're fixing to give this the taste test. Tell you what, I'm gonna set you on a tripod. No odor whatsoever. Here we go. L'chaim. Dostrovia. Water. No chlorine, nothing in it. There's no taste at all. No smell, no taste. I mean, no taste. There's nothing. You don't taste anything. It's all you can tell is that it's wet and cold. All right. I am going to get a pressure cooker, and I'm going to remake this. And when I get one and make this, I'll show you how I make it, because that's got to work. Or a canner, even an old canner, that would work also. What you would do is just remove the pressure gauge, because they all have safety reliefs, and where the pressure gauge goes, you would put the copper tubing. So it works. The rocket stove did a good job. That's the Silver Fire Survivor. It's 10 feet of copper tubing. Simple. Anybody could do this. Thanks for watching. It was interesting for me to find out all these things, and thanks for taking this trip with me. See ya.